Driver, the first game ever to feature open city driving, is well and truly back. And what we've done actually is very much go back to the roots with the game and what made that such a unique experience. So we've brought back Tanner, the undercover cop who we met in Driver 1. He's a little older, a little more hard-bitten, and also his arch-enemy Jericho. And this sets us up for a relentless manhunt between these two historic, iconic characters.
John Tanner is a character we created over 10 years ago, but what makes him sort of iconic is a coolness about him, a detachedness about him. But, you know, he's pretty much prepared to do what it takes to take down his enemy.
He's got no way out. Call it in, I'm gonna take him down.
When he was much, much younger, as a kid, he was a racing driver on the stock car racing circuit. And he gets into a bit of trouble and eventually finds his way and he becomes a cop. And because he's such a great driver and such a great personality, he finds his way through to being an undercover cop.
Tanner is a bit gung-ho. He's ready to go over the top to get the job done.
Quite often he'll find himself skirting very close to the edge of the law, if not actually on the other side of it. And that's when his partner Jones comes into it.
He's the calm one, he follows the rules.
And he really cares about Tanner. They've been partners for years, and he's the one that tries to keep Tanner back from the brink.
Hey, Tanner, talk to me.
Next up, it's a big day for justice. Convicted cop killer and international smuggling kingpin, Charles Jericho, faces sentencing later today.
It's principally a story about revenge. Tanner is absolutely driven by his desire to bring down Jericho. And you always knew this guy was super dangerous. You always knew that this guy was going to be more than just a hitman.
He's got a lot of influence, and he's got a lot of people that he has under his control in the prison service and throughout the city. He's a scary guy that can manipulate things and make life a real problem for Tanner.
The innovation of Shift, it's a real game changer. It's an ability that you've never seen before in a video game. It totally changes the way you play a driving game.
Shift's an ability that Tanner gains at the beginning of the game, and it's completely interwoven into the storyline.
I could sort of pick a body and wham, I'm inside them.
Man, finish your damn donut, then I'm taking you to a shrink.
It gives the player the ability to manipulate traffic and to play with things like a kid playing with toy cars.
And this is the kind of thing that we reward in the game with these dares that allow the player to challenge themselves.
They're a little bit like side missions, but they're important in the progression. These can be anything like jump 20 meters.
To achieve a certain speed or a certain length of drift and all sorts of other simple challenges as well.
So as you play through the game and achieve your objectives, you increase your willpower. Willpower is sort of currency of the game, so the shift ability isn't free. The shift ability is earned by cool driving.
Once you watch people actually play it, it is a transforming experience for them because it totally frees you up to do almost whatever you want.
So you might just see a car chase go past you, and that's when you use shift. You use shift into that action, and it will cause a huge accident behind you. And of course, then you get away from the cops, and the road's blocked, and away you go.
It really is that much fun. It's a totally unique experience. All the time, you're thinking about how you can strategically adjust what's happening in front of you. Throughout the game, it actually upgrades as Tanner becomes stronger. First thing is that the shift itself becomes more powerful, so we can pull further up and see more of the city, more of the cars.
That changes the kind of mission we can do with Shift. So we can create situations where you have to move very fast in different spaces to settle problems. On street level, one basic situation is you have a getaway car, he's in a very fast car, you're in a not so good cop car.
This is dispatch. We have a 207 in progress near City Hall.
You need to catch him. So you would use Shift either to take another car, which is faster to get him, or take something in oncoming traffic and plow it into your target car.
The game is completely designed around shift, so it's not like a cheat, it's not like it's an unlimited ability, it's actually integral to the gameplay. One of the first upgrades that we have is what we call rapid shift. So if you're two cops in a cop chase trying to take down a getaway car, one push of a button and you can rapidly shift between those two cop cars. We have boost, which is like a nitrous type of thing. We have ram. The ram ability is like a punch.
You can just swap cars and just always be at the heart of the action.
Shift out, shift in, shift out, shift in. It's faster, it's quicker. You can be in one car and then a fraction of a second you're in a car that's a few hundred yards up the road. It transforms your perception of what a driving game can be.
As soon as people get their hands on it, They just get it and they love it.
Driver multiplayer is unlike any online driving game you've ever played before. In fact, it's unlike any online game you've played before. And the Shift brings with it chaos and unpredictability to the excitement of driving games.
The game has been designed with online in mind right from the start.
One of the problems with multiplayer driving games is that quite often on the first bend in a chase or a race, if you have a crash, that can be the end of the fun.
But with Shift, what you can do is instantly shift into another car in the traffic and get back in the action, so you're never left behind. Everything can just turn on a dime right at the end of the race or chase or whatever mode that you're playing.
Everybody's got Shift, right? So you're driving along, you've got your objective in the traffic, you see a bolt of light and this car suddenly becomes an enemy and it's ramming you and smashing into you. And you can do the same to him. You can shift up ahead and you can T-bone him out of nowhere.
We have 11 modes for the online element. We have a mixture of cooperative, team-based games and also adversarial games as well. And they range from the usual online games, races, tag, but also some interesting base defense games as well.
We have a mode called Trailblazer where you have to compete with each other to try and stay as close as you can to a getaway car.
It's a stream of yellow light and players compete to absorb that stream of light. And it sounds very simple, but when you watch people play this mode, it's just incredible because they're all jostling for position.
We took some inspiration from other genre of video game like FPS. So we have a Capture the Flag, where obviously you have to find a flag and carry it to your base. And the others, they try to ram down your car in order to make the flag fall. Then you can grab it and bring it to your base.
Shift is also a little bit different in online multiplayer. It has 3 functions. One of those is car spawn, which just spawns a car on the spot. You can also transform a car from one car into another car. So say you end up in a slow vehicle like a bus, you can very quickly transform that into a much quicker car. And the third thing that we have is the impulse, and that allows you to apply a kick to someone else's car. So say, for example, they're chasing after your friend, you can apply an impulse to them and it will give them a kick, and so suddenly they'll find themselves driving sideways or backwards. Even though we've been designing this game for as long as we have, even though we've had multiplayer up and running for as long as we have, it's still something that gets people in the studio laughing and enjoying playing it. Once you get a bunch of friends together, all competing with the shift ability and stealing cars off each other, it gets quite heated at times.